Hi, dear ones. This is Ouassima Issrae. I hope you are doing well. I'm coming in to share with you some of these principles that we might have not thought about when we started reading tarot. And I wish someone could have told me about that. And so I'm the author of some books related to tarot, such as the 365 Days Challenge with Tarot and Oracle for busy souls and for mystic souls. So when I was traveling in Mongolia, I met with some French ladies that don't know much about tarot, but they got really interested in it and wanted to learn more about how to use it. And so I thought about putting these ideas in place and just to share them with you as well, because they might prevent you from getting dismotivated on the long run to get more ideas and maybe consider tarot as a friend and not just as cards that will give you insights for one day or tell you which step or which way to go. So, the first insight that I had is most people are not ready to hear the answer. And so the preparation to have a tarot reading is really crucial. It's important. The importance of it relies in opening our perception, opening our space within to be ready to hear what we don't know or things that have been hidden. Maybe things that we didn't want to hear because we were hurt or maybe we were afraid of change. So, being ready within is kind of like an inner position, an inner structure, an inner assignment for us that, okay, wherever is coming, I am calling in the law of clarity and truth to allow me to see things that I refused to see before. And so that will serve me for my highest good and the highest good of all. Just put in this intention and this just like small prayer, however you can formulate it in your own language, will really help you to uh, respect in a way to receive what exactly you need to receive. Responsibility as well. It's something that I saw often, and people usually do these kind of many readings for the same question. But the important thing, and I heard this from a shaman, he said, the idea is not to have a lot of journeys and a lot of insights from my allies, but instead is to apply and let those messages and those journeys work through me. So it's the same thing for tarot. We have to be responsible for the response that we get, for the insights that we receive. Most often we write. I love writing, I love journaling, putting these ideas and concepts that I have received and discovered through my readings in my journal. But how many times we forget about them and we forget to go back and reread, maybe even many years after. I'm quite surprised that as I am putting some of my journals in some boxes, keeping them as a treasure chest for the future years. I was going through some of them. I was quite surprised about the insights that tarot allowed me to be or to have. Uh, well, actually, it's interesting to say to be because I feel my wisdom is more awakened in a way when I am doing tarot readings for myself or for others because I am calling higher forces, higher wisdom to give us answers for our own being, well being, and the well being of all. So, notice what type of person is in, are you when you are doing readings? Is it the part of you that is insecure and needing confirmation from many cards and many readings? Are you more kind of curious about what is hidden behind the veils? Are you more of a prospectus researcher, philosopher, mystic? You are trying to seek clarity, answers, and so on. So identify who you are when you are doing the readings and get that responsibility back of owning the reading, of putting in practice what you have received, because the reading is a gift and we have to be present to the present we receive. We have to honor it, and that is to apply it on the physical realm. The next advice or suggestion I would say is of course, you will see it's quite obvious, probably, but the art of asking questions. Yes, the art of asking question. I always journey within me really deeply to find the right question because sometimes the surface question hides so much more within it. If we say, okay, how is it to go to this country? Well, before I ask that question, is more kind of where did that call within me came? Where did it come from? Why do I want to go to that country? What is my deep intention before I start doing the reading to say, okay, how is the energy around it? What do I need to prepare for it? And so on. It's kind of journeying. It means traveling to the source of what is needed to be known at this point. The art of asking question, I wrote about it, and maybe we can talk about it at some point because it's not for nothing that Pythagoras was teaching his students how to ask questions. They show our way of thinking, they show our principles, and it's desiccating our thought patterns. So it's very enriching. That this suggestion to do is to really before asking the question, journal, travel within your heart, um, ask the why. You know, these, like, there are many, it's like the how and why and when and so on, all these kind of like six like who and the six, you know, the six who the or the w or the h we use to ask the questions. So yeah, the art, I call it the art of asking questions. And the next suggestion also might appear obvious, but it's about choosing the right deck. Now, this probably needs like a whole full video for it, but um, so here are some points in this topic. Um, some decks will stay with you forever, from the beginning to wherever you separate together. You know, like long time. Some decks will come and go. Um, but it's important to, for myself at least, it's important for me to have decks that offer me a wide perspective, decks that feel like friends or teachers or elders or muses, like they inspire me, they awaken me to something. Um, with time, sometimes we can become desensitized. It's as if we are insensitive to what the deck is trying to say. Um, in that case, I like changing or just cleansing the energy of my deck. Sometimes it's about me. How am I doing with my practice? Am I really enjoying doing readings? Most often, I find it difficult to do readings when I am emotional or going through some struggles and I have to journal before doing the reading. That journaling period before the reading allows me to calm myself and get deeper into that state when I'm ready to hear and to listen to an advice or listen to what needs to be revealed. So sometimes it's not about the deck, it's about our emotional state. Being patient is important. So instead of just getting rid of your deck or wanting to change or wanting to order another one, sometimes it's nice also to be patient and see what's the reason behind your state of mind or state of emotional state, I would say. And also, it's funny because sometimes I put some decks to sell and they don't sell. And I'm like, why this deck is trying to stay? I get back to it and I find that we are still connected. That's why it's still here. So I always have this kind of journey between my decks, and um, it's a playful. It's really playful because it shows how we are always changing. Um, you know, there is this deck, the Sainte Croix, Tarot de Sainte Croix, that I brought with me uh, during my trips. I shared that in a previous video. I was really quite surprised. I hated that color, orange color. Oh, but at the same time, it was an amazing companion during my trip. Very, very pertinent, very wise. We had a great relationship together, and I hope we still. But the being open and not being quick to act related to our tarot decks. Also choosing decks that speak to us through the elements we love. If you are connected to water or to nature or to trees, maybe those decks will speak to you more. Um, I love colors. I love sometimes pastel, sometimes shining colors, and those help me as well to. Um, it's as if like tarot step helps us to step into a very sensitive place where we are in between the worlds and our senses open, and so that is one of the roles of tarot decks, and it has to have the ability to do that. So you will find it with time and with practice. You cannot just have your decks sitting. From my perspective, decks have to be used because, well, they radiate energy for sure. They radiate some principles, but by opening them, we allow ourselves to receive them. And so, um, other thing about tarot, there are many systems that exist. Also, Oracle. I love playing with Oracle decks as well. It's really one I would say a speciality I do have to play with the Oracle cards, Oracle decks altogether. Um, check my videos. I did. It's so good to have many tarot decks. That's one option we do. Like using many. So but still, I would suggest to start with one system. I love the Rider-Waite-Smith system. I have some exceptions with the Thought and the Marielle, and maybe some others I'm not having in mind now. But it's really important to start with just one system that helps you to kind of get comfortable with the meaning of the cards. And when you are comfortable with that and you have built that basis, your intuition maybe can use that to travel like the bird, have it needing a land. And from there, it can just travel to or fly higher. So that could be something to think about. Also, with every deck you would use, I love expanding my knowledge about the cards. Let's say history or archaeology or decks that apply the principles that I am studying. It could be the goddess decks or let's say mindful decks, helping, encouraging the clarity of, and the calmness. It could be activist tarot decks such as the Next World or the Urban Tarot. I love these type of decks. Oh, it just got my video got stopped. But yes, I love these decks that also kind of carry principles that widen. It allows me to go study books related to that and kind of the cards stop being in a box but become the whole world, interacting with many things I'm doing aside, interacting with nature, going to nature. I will take my deck with me. Going to the beach, I will take maybe a water deck with me. Talking about that, I just received the Tempest Tarot deck. I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. And just like observing it and noticing the presence of the water and so on. We are in summer this time. So taking it to the beach. So yeah, make your deck kind of like an active agent of your daily life, allowing it to expand your knowledge and widen your perception of the world. So all of this is related to that topic about the tarot decks and choosing your tarot decks. Now, another point before the reading, energy cleansing. I wrote a book about psychic protection. It's called A Guide to the Psychic Protection 40 and plus technique to cleanse yourself, cleanse your energy, and so on, in your houses and so on. But what I want to say here is that everything is energy and your tarot is an energy. Just imagine all people that have influenced the creation of your deck. It could be the producer, the artist, the printer, the shipping company, the handler of, you know, so many people have touched your deck before it arrives to you. And you yourself, when you arrive to that connection, I like to do this with anything coming to you. I prepare myself. going to meet with uh, a lover, going to meet with a teacher or with the kids, or we, everything is like intertwined and everything is mixed, and we forget to make space for these sacred meetings. We try to do everything at the same time. Sometimes, yes, we have to, but at the same time, if we create space, we create sacredness, and your deck becomes a sacred tool, sacred helper. And cleansing energy is in that dynamic, making and creating a space where you are both aligned together for the same goal. So it could be using maybe sage, lavender, laurel, wherever plant is related to your region. But it could be also this intention calling in your allies if you are into shamanic practice to help you uh, sanctify. I don't know that English word, but it's kind of create the sacredness and an aura in a way around you and around this deck. Maybe putting it in a fabric that is really close to your heart. Maybe just having a stone with it. There's so many things I'm sure you're gonna find a tool. And if you want to check my book about psychic self-protection, you will find lots and lots of suggestions in that book. And finally, we are still in this step of before the reading. You see, we are not even getting into the reading itself. The shuffling. So really, it's really simple shuffling. Shuffling the deck. I'm not a professional shuffler, like when you see them doing that movement. So I love how they do it, but I'm not a good shuffler. But the act of shuffling itself is a way of connecting with the tarot deck. It's, behind the act of shuffling is there is so much depth. It reminds me of these ancient women, whether in the Norse tradition or other traditions, that held or hold the thread of destiny. This is how important shuffling is. You are holding in your hands all the possibilities of the world. You are holding your potential in it. The timelines, all the timelines are in your hand, and you are shuffling all that and doing it with attention, knowing that it's as if your thread, the thread of your destiny is in your hands, and you're going to impact it forever with that shuffling, with that card that you are going to pick. You will never be the same. You will never be the same when you are shuffling your deck. The before and after, as crucial as they are, will impact your destiny. So this is how we see the shuffling and the depth of it. And so doing it, being is really kind of coming to this present moment, being in here and opening yourself to these immense possibilities, as if like you are meeting with the cosmos, meeting with all the planets, meeting with the full potentiality of the universe. And then only when you are feeling aligned, you can pick that card that will come to answer the question. The seeker, meeting that card as the seeker, as if you were thirsty for so long and now you are coming to drink that water. So that's how shuffling is sacred and how I see it in this sacredness. So I finish with the first part of, the suggestions and things that I have learned and I wish I could know before about reading. Now, when we are doing the reading, I have just two suggestions for today, but one of them is quality versus quantity. I know that when we are holding all of these beautiful cards, depends if you are a tarot or oracle reader, but sometimes you have 50, sometimes you have hundreds, and I love having many cards on my table. But as a beginner, or even sometimes for myself, one card is really enough because, you know, quality versus quantity, quality of connecting with a card. I've been using I've been using extensively the cats. Um, so here I'm shuffling, calling the spirit of the cats people with this deck. It's amazing, like how shuffling just puts you right away in that. Um, and yeah, so the quality. And let's see which card will come for us for today from this beautiful deck. Just one card, jumping into its scene, jumping into its spirit, studying it extensively. So I have Page of Wands. Looking at the fashion, the inspiration from the head, as if like some plants that are not yet mature, but they have some potential. The aspiration to know more, and at the same time, the intention of sharing that fire with others in the future. The curiosity, but also uh, the companionship with that cat, and so you travel into one card, you travel to we are talking about the tarot deck, isn't it? That offering that inspiration, opening a path, um, the companionship and so on. So I love this card and jumping into it. One day when I got this card, I stayed with that necklace she has for a long time. She or he, we don't know, but I believe it's a she. And that necklace and where it is, in the sacral chakra. No, it's in the navel. The navel, like at the navel, it has like a bigger circle. And I'm like, why is it that way? Why is it that way? And I stayed with it for a long time and seeing like the clothes and the chakras, like here, lots of bubbles, lots of eyes, but then the bigger one is on the navel. Hmm, what is going on at that place? And that got me into bigger meditation with this card. So that's what I mean, like quality versus quantity. Learn to jump. The idea is not to get the quick answer all the time, even if we need that for sure, but it's really the depth. Jump into the depth. And I think our interest to tarot decks is to dive deep. For me, it's really that. It's I am getting into tarot cards and readings because I want to dive deep. It's not just for the art, it's not just for the colors, it's not just for the joy of it. No, I want to go deep. As a Pisces, I want to go deep. And so go deep with every card you have. And the last suggestion I would give, and I really wish everyone will listen to this, because when you're having a direct experience in shamanic practice, which means you meet with your allies directly, you don't need anyone to interpret your journey. You are interpreting it by yourself, and this is so much empowering. This is so empowering, and so we learn from the circle way in many traditions, how to give our interpretation to our own journey, and others can give their interpretation of how they see my journey, but it's all in this kind of commune, which is come with all together, communing, communicating all together for the well-being of all. There is no one that has a better interpretation than the other. It's all coming from your center, from your own inner um, uh, uh, not just intuition, but wisdom, wisdom, wounds, everything. Your interpretation comes from you as a totality. And so you have to trust your perspective about things and be patient with it and take notes of it and go deep with it. And also be willing to listen other people's interpretation for sure, but do not try to be better at interpreting the cards, but instead better in your connection to your cards. Your connection to your cards is not mind interpretation only, it's your whole perception. You're working with tarot is not just, we tend to reduce these sacred things into non-sacred things, or changing the meaning of things. This is the inversion of it. The goddess Isis became the name of something else. The rainbow is its interpretation is wide. Why do we need to put it into just one field? And I think that's the tarot work. We cannot close tarot into divination or just journaling, or no, it you can't close it, because you can't close working with the cards, because it's wide, it's deep, and it shows our depth. It shows our own wideness and wildness as well. We have to stay wild with our interpretation to tarot, and also trust it and confirm it. So, usually, when I do some interpretation in a reading, for example, I say, this is how I'm seeing it. How do you see it? And so I open the path for the other to share without diminishing my own perspective, or saying, oh, it's not good or it's good. We don't know. Only us within here. If there is a key that has opened within us, if there is an event that got confirmed or something, there is a key. There is something that opens within us when we do a true sacred kind of tarot reading. Something opens within us, and if we have trouble to understand that card, just stay with it for some time. Maybe, so I like doing this as well, like picking another card that will help me understand it better, but not more. Not like just. It depends on the context, but what I'm trying to say is really kind of um, be present with what you don't understand, and give it space and time. Recently, in one of our shamanic journeys book clubs, where we do shamanic journeys together, we read books together, and I suggested this journey about, let's revisit a shamanic journey we had, and we ask our allies to let us understand more about it. It was surprising, because how many dreams do we have that we don't understand yet? How many cards reading did we do and we didn't understand yet? But still, they are present. They don't disappear. We can always, if you have taken a picture of them, go back and see today what they mean about it, what they mean about your question, what they mean about, the topic you had at the time. It's quite surprising, this exercise. So that's it for today, my dear friends. If you want to know more about my work and this is your first time, please do not hesitate to visit my website, coremagic.com, to see the books that I have published or that I have helped publish around tarot, spirituality, goddess work, and so on. And my school at ouassimagic.com. I initiate priestesses at the Temple of Roses, and I am at the moment teaching as well about the Amazons of North Africa, and how they fought with patriarchy, and how these ancestors are speaking to us today to reconnect with the sacredness of life and how to protect it again. So wishing you a great, great day, and I will see you soon.